Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the Hanshin 2200 meters track. This is going to be your medium CM for your Cancer Cup number 2. For this track, there's notably very long downhills, meaning that you will want to save stamina by pumping up your weight as high as possible. For the acceleration phase, it will be on corner number 3 with corner number 4 on the 1550 meters track, which is about 25% in basically. The acceleration phase starts at 1467 meters and ends at 1833 meters, and you have a straight line at the end at the 1850 meters mark for about 350 meters. The downhills are going to be the most significant part because you can basically cut stamina by a lot if you get a lot of width to help to activate pace down mode. Pace down mode is a mechanic that basically...
Hello, this is just a quick update here. When you hear Moo refer to PDM or pace down mode, he's actually mixing it up with downhill mode. First, let's talk about pace down mode. Pace down mode is when your Uma is not a front. When they're too close to the front and they don't have a speed skill activated, they will pace down back to where they think they should be. Meanwhile, downhill mode is that whenever you're on a downhill slope, an Uma has a % chance based on their wit stat to go into downhill mode, and when they hit downhill mode, they will increase their speed and they will save 60% of their energy, and every second that they're in downhill mode, they have a 20% chance to stop being in downhill mode. Okay, now that we've cleared that up, back to the video.
In addition, for the corner number 3, the accelerations that will work here are your typical ones for your fronts, angling and scheming as per usual. At this point, what does angling and scheming not work on should be the better phrase. And then we also have your Majiro Ryan and your Majiro Dober, who will be able to activate on corner number 3 with no problems at all. The unfortunate part is that pace chasers, because Taiki and Nishinos are at the final corner, is a bit too late for them to basically get any value out of their uniques. Is a little bit sus if you were to go and inherit those uniques. Redshift also activates on final corner, so it's not exactly a very good unique. But if you technically use a 0.4 XL at 1550 meters, it's still gonna help you a little bit, but it's just gonna be very sus to go and use those. So I just generally want to recommend you guys to lean away from pace chasers if you can, just so you can get access to the other stronger accelerations for this track, as those are game winning. Moving on, we have basically the inheritances list here. For the inheritance, we basically will be seeing a crazy amount of frontrunners, as angling and scheming as per usual is here and really good. In addition, Bar Carol is also another very good unique to basically use on any horse. As long as you have 7 skills that you can activate, you will be able to get a very nice finishing speed skill over here and will help you to secure victories very well. Everyone should try their best to go and get this skill. Even until modern day JP, people are still using this horse's unique. For your gamblers, you basically hit number 5 and number 6 and you try to win from there. So Ryan and Dober are practically mandatory. Nimble Navigator is also available to a lot of your gambler horses. And closers will also be picking up Ryan and Dober, as they don't really have anything else. They have no straightaway spurt for this track. Please do not buy straightaway spurt for this track. After that, we have Valentine Bourbon with Operation Cacao. It's a decent mid-leg 0.15, but it's also very expensive, so you may choose to get it or choose not to get it. It's for the 1st to 4th positions and it will give you 0.15 speed. After that, we have Fuji Kiseki and Satono Diamond. While Fuji is on the 1st to 3rd position, Satono is on the 2nd to 5th position, but they roughly give about the same speed with 0.25 on the straight line at the end. Symbol de Rudolph is the same, also a last straight skill as long as you overtake horses, so better for backliners. And Brian is a bit of a funky one because Brian can technically activate on the start of the final corner, which is a very bad place to activate because it is during acceleration phase. But if it activates later after acceleration is completed, that is still okay, because then it will be able to give you a nice 0.25 finishing speed skill, so Brian's a little bit more gambly than the rest of them. I wouldn't put it as a super high priority. After that, we have Oguri Cap with Triumph from Pulse, and do I really need to explain her? At this point, everyone should know Oguri is literally just the GOAT and her unique works on every single track. Right, so that's basically what you are aiming for here. For horses, you basically want to get accelerations that are important for winning first. After that, you stack as much mid-leg as possible, and of course pick up some finishing speed skills as bonuses if you can. And for parenting, make sure that if you are lacking certain things, you go and fulfill it by getting it from the borrowed slot. So for example, if you were using blue skills for your side and you lack pink and whites, then you should go and sacrifice some blues on the parents to hunt down for very awesome pinks and whites to try and balance out the horse. So do your best to balance your horse as much as possible to complete a fully functional Uma pizza. Alright, next we have the Cancer Cup stat lines. For stat lines, basically we have this amount of stamina over here. It's not going to be as high as the Tokyo 25 and not going to be as low as the Tokyo 16, so think of it like the middle ground over here. For guts, you do want to get significant amount of it on the backliners because dueling is still possible on this track. It's just not going to be as often because the straight line is only 350 meters, right? The width and power and speed, as per usual, you want to stack it up as much as possible. Notably, your stat threshold for this track. Stat thresholds, for those who do not know, are basically a special stat for each gauge track that gives you additional speed per 300 stat that you have. So for this track is going to be your speed. Every 300 speed you get more speed. So basically just max your speed as per usual, right? Then stamina, you just get as much as possible. But notably, with the width being able to pace down, you can cut stamina a little bit or just change it to white skills. You don't really need to hunt down gold recoveries for this track. Alright, it's not that big of a deal. Getting some whites and then a significant amount of guts and stamina will be more than sufficient here. So that will be your most important spark. Trying to not shove in a super creek and just straight up just trying to get the stamina and guts raw with inheritance. If you cannot do it, then just slap in the super creek. No one's gonna really blame you. Alright, so that's it for the stamina recommendations over here. Now let us move on to the tier list itself. For viable horses here in the B tier, basically we are looking at horses that can gamble victories or have a possible speed carryover or have something that can help them to go and clear the game. For example, we have Brian, who's just a solid all-rounder horse. Her unique herself, I already told you the problem is that sometimes she can activate it too early, but with the extra duration it's going to activate too early less of the time, so you can still get good value out of her unique, and it will be 0.45 finishing speed, so it's still very viable, and her golds are very usable. So Brian's a very good one, and her career is also going to be very nice for Mant because she has very good aptitudes as well. Then we also have Kawakami, Mayano, as well as your Nice Nature. These three horses here have no stopping me, although Mayano lacks the fast learner bonus event due to it being disabled during Mant. Basically, NSM is a very good gambling skill for every single one of these backliners, and if you hit NSM, you can just straight up win the game at a perfect proc. Right, it's just a very powerful way to go and win the game. After that, we also have Fuji, Spechan, Oguri, and your Digitan, who are just generically good horses who have very good uniques that are able to help them to win. If they ever release the buff really early, then Spechan I would raise her all the way up to 8 here, because Spechan would change from target speed into current speed. I just love Spechan and I would like to see her succeed once that buff comes in. So that's basically it for this B tier over here. After that, we go on to the A tier. Basically, we have your Tamamo and your Ghost Ship, who have very good mid legs to go and try to win here. Tamamo's weakness is that her Mao is very bad, however, so she has to worry about that. But otherwise, I see no problem with these backliners here trying to basically get their activations for their Ryan and their Dober. For Tamamo, I would absolutely go and nuke her a little bit, but I know some Tamamo people still want to go and play her for the medium CM, and yes, this CM, she is still a usable horse. So I would say if you can suffer through the lack of Mao, you can definitely make a very strong horse here. For stamina debuffers, notably, stamina debuffers are still okay. You can kill people sometimes. It's just that unfortunately, the strongest horses here have very strong innate stamina, so it's a bit harder to go and nuke them properly. Right, we also have Satono Diamond, and Diamond is basically a very good horse here because she has the double green combo. The double green combo is basically you have right-handed demon plus your firm conditions demon from your Narita top road, which allows you to basically get 2 awesome green gold skills to pump your speed up a humongous amount. It's similar to Chiono O on the spring tracks. Right, if you can buy the spring plus that firm track demon from Narita Top Road's card, you can get very huge speed here. This case is going to be for Satono Diamond, who is a very viable horse for this track if you want to try and do some very strong finishing speed, plus the 2 extra humongous greens to try and duel people and catch up to them. It is a very good horse here. We also have New Year TM Opera O herself, who also suffers the same problem as Tamamo, where she's a very good horse, but her Mao is horrendous, so she really will suffer from that. But if you want to make her good, she can definitely win you quite a lot of games here as per usual. I know the TM fans are desperately looking for a TM to play. Well, meet the New Year TM is definitely a very good horse here to go and use. For the Majiro family, we have Dober and Ryan. Yes, so now at this point we have the Camping Dober. Camping Dober is a very niche horse. She requires a specific slope, and if the slope is not at the right spot, she cannot use her unique properly. So that's why with this track, basically they released the track that Camping Dober is really good at right now, and then after that you will see that Camping Dober will disappear for a little bit because there's no good tracks for her because she's a very niche horse. But if you do have Camping Dober, you can feel free to use her here. For Majiro Dober, both of them are viable because both of them have good uniques to go and win the game with. Although Camping Dober, her golds, and regular Dober, her golds are also not to say the very best golds in the game. Right, we also have Majiro Ryan, who can, as per usual, just hit number 6 and win the game, but you need to hit number 6, so that's going to be the issue for you. Depending on the lobby, you may get it or you may not get it, depending on how many fronts there are. Right, and then of course we have Fine Motion. Fine Motion has a chance to get that speed carryover, and her golds are definitely still okay, and I believe she has right-handed innately inbuilt. Oh no, was it fall? I think it was fall. But anyway, regardless, her unique is still very solid, so she's still a very solid horse here. So Fine Motion Enjoyers, this is one of those tracks where she's quite decent, so I would say that you can use her. Although you may consider using her in the late surger position, just so you can maybe get the very good uniques to go and proc if you can. Other than that, we basically have your front spam. Yeah, good old front spam. Front spam is basically very strong for this CM, as it's a very front track. Daiwa Scala is very good here because you run away, you rocket launcher, you can win the game. Even just straight up normal Daiwa Scarlet might be able to win the the game. But since there's so many fronts, you have to make your Daiwa's color very strong also. Esmaru v Bourbon, Seiyun Sky, at this point, if you've never seen them, you're crazy. But all of these horses here are viable and can win as long as they're in the first place. Whoever is first for the fronts will just win the game. So Esmaru v Bourbon, Seiyun Sky, even Suzuka, just run away Suzuka, just toss her in there, just rocket launcher all of them, then they hit the Nimble Navigator, then they activate the unique boom, they just win the game. Right, very, very powerful stuff here. So the fronts are very, very strong here. Feel free to win with any front that you want in the game, there's no problem at all. And of course, the SSSS tier horse, as you might expect, is a medium CM. Who can it be? Xmas Oguri. You can make this horse front, pace, late, end. Whatever the hell you want, whatever cards you have, you can go and lean towards making her there. If you have CB and you want to put Daring Strike on her, then lean towards end. If you want to just gamble on your left, you can. If you want to make her pace chaser, she won't have any really crazy skills. You can just throw her in there because it's just easy, because she comes inbuilt with Hydrate and whatnot. You can throw a front runner, which is the craziest strategy because it's the hardest one to make, but you can put her there and then angling and scheming her to victory. Right, so there's 1 million ways to build this Build-A-Bear horse, and her stamina requirement is extremely, extremely low because, you know, she has 1 million recoveries innately. So that's her biggest advantage here. She's very, very powerful and you will see her a lot. This is definitely the horse that everyone will go and make because she's very, very casual friendly and she's very, very easy and she's very, very good. We will have a separate section for Oguri after this, but let's go and talk about the skills that we'll be looking for every other horse. For your front runner position, groundwork, early lead, taking the lead preferably, angling and scheming, and your green skills are very, very good. Dodging danger, prudent positioning, ignited spirit wit, these are your core 2 movement skills to go out and go back in to get very, very high speed. Your corner skills are still very good. Your playtime's over, tail hill high, blah blah blah. Any generic speed skills are very good, but otherwise your front runners are basically box standard front runners from every other CM. If you've prepared them for any mediums, you can most likely just transfer them over to here because they are functionally the same horse, because they probably don't even need to get anything. They probably have like a surplus rate shift or something like that. Just surplus rate shift, it doesn't even work properly, you don't care. The rest of the skills should be good enough that you can toss your old horses over here, and I'm sure some of you guys will be doing that also. For pace chasers, unfortunately, since there's no really awesome uniques here to use for acceleration, you would basically be gambling head on Nimble Navigator, Ignited Spirit Power, Uma Stam, blah blah blah, to basically try and do something here on this track. Right? There's really nothing much else you can do here. You just want to close the gap, get as much mid leg as possible, get as much finishing speed as possible, and hope that you duel someone or you nimble properly in order to try to win your opponents over here. Right? That's pretty much all Pace Chaser has, which is why Pace Chasers are not exactly the strongest horses on this track here. Pace Chasers are more stronger on the shorter tracks right now. Later on, they will have certain accelerations that can work on the mediums and longs, so they will be a lot more viable then. After that, late surges, gamble. Any gambling skill you can find, just gamble. Don't care. Pump Iron, Moving Pass, Power, Slick Surge, Nimble, whatever the hell you want to gamble, just buy it and then just go and gamble it. No one's gonna complain because as long as you hit everything, then you just run down the front runner, the front runner's gonna cry. But of course, since there might be a lot of front runners, they could also just block you and then you cry. So it's a 50-50 thing. Right? Either you win or you lose. End of story. Right? You get all the mid legs that you can get, and then after that try to win from the backline positions. That's how late surges will work over here. After that, we have end closers, which is worse because they don't have the straightaway spurt, and they will basically be used almost exactly the same unique, same golds and the same whites as the late surges, but at least they have Daring Strike going for them, which can help them a lot in closing the gap. So end closers are still not out of the game, so Mr. CB is a very significant skill for them. Please go and try to slap Mr. CB into your deck if you want to make end closers really, really strong. Right? Late surges, end closers, they are roughly the same character at this stage of the game because you just lose straightaway spurt and you're basically a late surger already. There's nothing else special about late surges as of this moment in time. So for late surges, end closers, you're basically the same character. Just go and hunt down all the good skills you can for each of the respective positionings and you will be basically fine. For the sample decks over here, you basically want to get as much race bonus as possible and race like crazy, or find any really awesome skills that you can find to go and slap into your decks. Right? As much race bonus as possible is very good because it makes your very shitty turns into actually rainbow turns because you're racing and getting a crazy amount of stat points. Can help to make the run a lot more consistent. Try to aim for 60% race bonus or higher if you can, so you can get those additional stat points over here. 50% I know is usable, but the higher the race bonus, the actually better it is. That's the actual meta for making the track as of this point in time. After that, for Xmas Oguri in particular, stamina, don't care. You literally don't care. Just nuke the stamina as much as you want. Don't care. Literally, naturally, right? She will have enough stamina. You go to Mant, you get the natural stamina, you slap 3 recoveries on her, done. She will have enough stamina. I can guarantee you that. You just go on speed, power, and wit the whole time, and Xmas Oguri will be completed by the end of the day. I assure you of this. She's a very, very easy horse to make for this track. Right? The hardest part is literally her career. Of course, try to buy as many skills as possible, and of course, since she's Oguri, she has the privilege of racing anything that she could want. Right? From long long to medium to mild to dirt, anything you want, you just go and do. Right, so this is a very, very powerful and easy horse to make.
Hey everyone, let's talk a bit about Oguri recoveries. Do not get U equals MA squared. Yes, it does get speed carryover. However, if you look at how Festive Miracle procs from it, you'll notice that the Excel portion of Oguri's unique is completely wasted. 0.25 speed carryover is ultimately not that impressive and gets beat out by any 0.2 Excel, and that's just not very good value for a unique. So that leaves 777 as the best and only speed carryover proc that we will recommend. Now, as always, there is a more consistent end/late Oguri strat. To explain it a bit, since we haven't explained it in the past, you get your 3 normal recoveries, 777 as the activator, shake it out, then you go Ryan Dober plus Nimble Navigator, and finally 1 overtake unique. The idea behind this is that when you proc those excels, you'll be able to proc shake it out into Festive Miracle if you missed one of the recoveries. It is not as good as having a speed carryover, but 0.3 excel is still significant enough to consider, and as a backup, it's fantastic.
For the last team comp recommendations here, the meta back in my day for this track was absolutely 2 front runner, 1 pace chaser. Absolutely. Alright, it was just fronts plus Xmas. Some people even do 3 fronts, no Xmas. It's just how much effort they want to do, because Xmas Oguri requires not a lot of effort. So they just throw a pace chaser, they don't even make a late surger. It's because they're going to make all the front runners there. If Oguri is from behind, she's just nimble and festive, she just wins the game anyway. Right, so no matter what position you put her in, this will be perfectly fine. Run away plus any of this is also a very viable team comp. Run away to just make the pace really high, then the late surgers will lose even harder, and then your front runners can even nimble off of your runaway Suzuka if they wanted to. Right, so a very, very viable way to win as well. 1 ace 2 debuffer is the laziest way, and I know a lot of you are burnt out of Make a New Track because I lost half my audience during the entire Make a New Track. So I know that all of you are burnt out and all of you are leaving already. Right, so the 1 ace 2 debuffer will be the laziest and most common strategy for this CM. I assure you of this. This will be the highest pick rate. Right, this is absolutely the highest pick rate. It's just Xmas plus 2 debuffer. Right, so this will be the most popular horse, 100% guaranteed. Alright, after that, 3 backliners as per usual. Just gamble. You gamble, you win. You don't gamble, you don't win. So you might as well just all in the gamble, and the gamblers will be able to win as long as you put them with enough mid legs and enough gambling skills to go and win from their position. Alright, if there's dominators in the lobby, even better for you sometimes, because that means that you can actually go more in front and get number 6 or so. So dominators can help backliners hit number 6 a lot better than front runner spam, because front runner spam means that you basically are stuck all the way at the back. You cannot catch up to the front runners. After that, we have 1 pace chaser and 2 backliners, which is just a nice default comp also, where the pace chaser can try to win there, or the backliner can try to win there. By the way, all pace chasers assume there is Xmas Oguri. Do not assume anything else. There's almost no other functional pace chaser except maybe Fuji or anything else you want to kind of pray for, basically. Right, and then the last one will be the team trial players. They just throw in the team trial horse because the team trial horse has enough skills, then they get the gems from participating. I know some people who quit CM entirely because they can't be bothered anymore, so they just stop playing because they have other shit to do in their life. So that's also okay. Don't worry about it. Alright, no one's gonna flame you at this point because half the audience has already left at this point, so don't worry about it. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. Any other questions, feel free to go through the Discord. The Discord will explain the rest of it to you because they're all very competent by this point. You can also go through my YouTube or Twitch live streams. I also talk a lot about Umamusume there, and I can try my best to answer your questions there. Otherwise, you can also DM me on Ko-fi if you need a coaching session or if you need a direct message to me because you desperately need an answer. I don't mind either way. Alright, so that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. See you guys next time. Good luck with training for your Cancer Cup. Bye bye, everyone.